Okay. Coach Marinelli, Levi, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Hi, Coach. Levi Damien from USA Today. First off, what are you in particular are you looking for from this defense in the finale, and what kind of message are you going to give them before they take the field on Sunday?
You know, it's just about the same. Environment could change, situations change, but we don't. And I just want to keep growing. That's the number one thing. It's keep developing, keep growing, secure a win. That's important, and it's how we play. Okay, it's how we play. The effort, I want to keep building on that. The tackling, playing together as a unit.
Hi, Coach. Jerry McDonald from the Bay Area News Group. In a situation like Saturday night, where there's such a mistake made at the end that's just has such a difficult outcome.
Yeah.
With the players that were in error on the play, how do you handle that? I mean, they probably feel as bad as anybody. What's your approach like in making the corrections?
Yeah. It's always been the same. It's player and coach. It's coach and player. We're the teachers, okay? They reflect us at the end of the day. So it's not one guy in it, it's all of us in it. So we got to go back and correct our teaching, things we're asking them to do, having the right person in the game at that time. So it comes down to that, and then you watch it on tape, and we make our corrections, and then you move forward. And just what we did.
When you look at Max Crosby's second season, what have you seen from him, and where does he need to improve and sort of maybe get back to a more consistent level rushing the passer?
Yeah, just some detail things, especially off the edge. Sometimes a little bit too deep, getting by the quarterback, getting counter moves, some of those type of things. But you can't coach a better guy that's hungrier, shows up every day, hungry, the look in his eye. And he's got a little more attention this year. Got some chips on him, which should happen. But I think there's no ceiling to Max. I just really believe he's going to keep getting better and better. And it's important to finish correctly.
Rod, it's been kind of an up and down season for Jonathan Abram, playing basically his first extensive playing time. There's been some mistakes. There's been some high water moments. What's your assessment of Jonathan and where he is right now?
Obviously he's a terrific talent, great hitter. I mean, absolutely love his intensity and his passion for the game. It comes down now to doing things correctly all the time, being a consistent player. It's everything in this league to be consistent, how you practice. He's missed a lot, but the illness and all those things, all that stuff matters, and the details matter. And he's a great guy to work with, and I just see him taking off. But I want him to finish right and be consistent. He'll have a splash play now. He's going to make, but it's the guy you can count on each and every play.
Coach, I know you're on the opposite side of the ball, but just as a defensive coordinator, can you imagine? I mean, what is it like to prepare for a guy like Darren Waller that can line up anywhere and do anything?
He's special. Man, I mean, I know Coach has talked a lot about him, but man, we watch him in practice and stuff. He is something. He's a force to handle with. I mean, he is a force. You have to put a big dot on him when you start game planning. He is a special player, and they use him really well.
Rod, last time you went up against Drew Lock, you made him throw 4 interceptions. What are some of the same things that you're going to try to implement in this game plan and try to make him have the same type of game?
Well, I think it starts with us, and the last game really doesn't mean anything at all right now. So we just got to keep focusing on us, and that, especially with this group, I just want to keep building that culture of discipline and execution and expectations, and making sure we're not guessing, we're playing things exactly right, and I want them to play really fast. And we do those things, we can build off that.
So we got one more, Anthony.
Hey, Coach. I know. Hi, Coach. Excuse me. I know the focus is on the Broncos game, but I was wondering if you gave it any thought of wanting to be the defensive coordinator next season, or are you open to returning as defensive line coach?
No, to be honest, really, just let things go as they go. That's been always me. I just really concentrate, and everybody says the same thing, but I really do. I mean, I really look at the situation. I love being with these guys. I love seeing them grow, okay? And I just leave it at that.
Got one more, Jerry?
Yeah, everybody obviously is going to focus on the way that game ended, but like say up to that last play, did you see progress? Are you seeing, over the last 2 games, are you seeing progress in the defense?
No question. I mean, I think you can see it too. Just the intensity. I love the intensity they're playing with. The hitting is picked up. I mean, and it's really clear what they have to do. And so I've just cut things down. That's who I am. Cut things back a little bit, and let's really get good at a few things. And I think it's really starting to show. The rush came pretty well. Our pressures, I thought some coverages were good. So my goal is now we're just going to keep going this week.
Great. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, everyone.
Good. Thank you.
All right, we're ready to go. Go ahead, Jerry.
Hey, Greg, Jerry McDonald.
Jerry.
Ask you, when you guys were in training camp in June and July, and all the COVID stuff was first coming down in terms of lockdowns and such, did you think you'd get this far? Did you think you'd get to week 17?
Personally, I did not, Jerry. I was, I'm one of the few people in my family stayed in California so my kids could finish in high school up there. So I did not find a place to live, initially because I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So I stayed in a hotel for really the first 12 weeks. So I had no idea that we'd be able to make it.
Hey, Greg, when you look at the season for Brian Edwards and Henry Ruggs, just where have you seen them get better, and where do they need to sort of build on for next year?
Well, experience, you can't replace experience, and both of them got, experience this year. They had their share of injuries, so I think they've learned what an NFL season is like, or the length of the season and the importance of being available on game day. What really they missed out on was the off-season work after they were drafted, and we really look forward to getting our hands on them and spending an off-season with them, getting better. So hopefully we'll get through this COVID, and we'll be able to get these guys back in March, and we can have an off-season for them to really have a chance to get with Edgar and have a chance to hone their receiving skills. But they just need an off season of coaching and learning and being in this system and running the routes that we run here in this system, and just more experience.
Hey Greg, what has Nelson Aguilar given you guys this year, and how important is it to bring him back next year?
Yeah, he's been a great leader in that room. And we talked about those 2 young receivers, and I think both he and Zay Jones have been tremendous role models for those guys, and tremendous pros. As a coaching staff offensively, we've liked everything that Nelson Aguilar's brought to our offense, and not just as the position, but the leadership skills that he's brought as well. So I'm looking forward to hopefully having a chance to work with him again next year. I know that's, and I would speak for all the coaches offensively.
Greg, along the lines of the off-season program, there was a report out that somebody from the Players Association, high up, wanted to maybe negate that this year, feeling like what happened last year proves that you can play football without an off-season program. I would tend to think that you would disagree with that, but not to get into a back and forth on it, but if you could just kind of advocate why it is important that you get these guys in the building, especially coming off the year that we just had.
I think again that just the growth and development of the young players, and maybe there's room for someone like a Jason Witten or some of these players that we have that are seasoned veterans. Maybe they don't need it as much, but I think any young player would say they need the development phase of the program, which is obviously the OTAs and June minicamp. So obviously we're selfish maybe as a coaching staff, but I think that a lot of the players want to be here. If you were to ask a young player, I think most of them would say they want a chance to try to learn the game, the professional game, and in order to play and perform at a professional level. So that would be disappointing if they went that route. But again, I know scoring's up obviously this year. I still think the game's been very exciting for fans throughout the league to watch it this year. But I just hope it doesn't go that way.
Got 2 more, Josh and then Adam.
Greg, you've talked a lot about Darren Waller over the years. What does it say about a guy who has the year he had last year and then seems to be able to take it even to another level this season, especially the last month or so, just about his work ethic and what does that say about him?
Well, I think you guys have gotten a chance that have been with the Raiders, got a chance to know him as well over the past few years. And, he's so humble. I think that jumps out at you whenever, I get a chance to listen to his interviews or read an article on him. He is so humble for being such a tremendous player at this level. And again, you mentioned it, his work ethic, his preparation, how he goes about his week and his winning routine every week. He's just a real special football player, but a special leader and special person as well. And I think everyone's getting a chance. I know his story's out there, and a lot more people are getting to know Darren Waller. And, we couldn't be more proud of him, as an organization or as a coaching staff.
Coach, it seems like we've talked about the red zone quite a bit this year and even a little bit last year. How much maybe focus will that be in the offseason, and how much can you really change about, maybe philosophies inside the red zone?
Well, you can't. Every year is different, and again, we talked about last year, kind of our Achilles heel being the goal-to-go offense, and we still need to get better. Obviously, you can look at where we're at the end of the year here. It's going to be another major emphasis for us in the offseason. It's improving our red zone offense. So, again, there's a lot of things that go into that, from play design to players to, to run-pass ratio, all those things. There's a lot of different things that go into that. So it'll be an emphasis, again, for us, and we'll get better next season.
Great. Thanks, Ollie.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, guys, rare appearance from Gabe Jackson. Get those hands up for questions. Jerry, you're first.
Hey, Gabe. How satisfying would it be to get out of this last game with a win based on the last 6 games? Would it take some of the disappointment away, or not?
I mean, you always want to win no matter what, playoffs or not going to playoffs. I feel like that'd be the icing on the cake.
Gabe, you guys have had a lot of moving pieces on the offensive line, but how do you think you guys have done as a group, especially in the run blocking this year? Do you think you guys have done what you expected, or could it have been better?
I mean, no matter how good you do, you always want more. You want to do better, but I feel like Denzel Good has done a great job of stepping up for us and been a real big part of his offense, playing both guards, tackles, whatever the job requires from him that week. I'm just excited for him. I know he's should get paid this offseason.
Hey, Gabe, you've been around for a while. How would you assess these last 5 or 6 games? What happened to you guys? You guys are 6-3. What do you think went wrong the last month and a half?
I mean, it's various things, just got to learn how to, keep fighting and, find a way to win, Can't pinpoint a person or any player and say it was their fault. I mean, we all have our hands in this, so we just got to find a way to do better.
Gabe, you had to fight so hard last year through injuries after that training camp injury. Is there some sense of personal satisfaction with getting through your 16th game and having a really pretty solid year?
Oh yeah, definitely. I never look at a season or a game and be just like, okay, this is about me. But a couple of days ago, I was reflecting over the season and just my previous season, and I thought to myself like, I'm finally finishing out all the games of this season instead of the last couple of years. I missed a few from different reasons, elbow to my knee injury and all that. So it's exciting and rewarding.
Any more questions for Gabe, guys? Okay, we're all good. Thank you, man.
Denzel Good for president. Back up the Brinks truck. Pay the man.
All right, guys, we got Darren Waller. Before we get started with questions, I just want to present him with the 7th Annual Craig Long Award. This is presented in recognition of professionalism and collaboration with the media. It's been a unique year, Darren, and you've always been willing to to talk to these guys, and they voted you as our first ever 2-time recipient. So there you go. Congratulations.
Thank you, Will. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's always cool talking to y'all. I miss having y'all around on a day-to-day basis. I know you guys always try to write me in the most positive light as possible, and it's never a hassle or anything to talk to you guys. It's always good questions and good conversation. So I appreciate how you guys cover the team and present us to the people and the public. I speak on behalf of everybody from the team when I say that.
All right, Vic.
Hey, Darren, have you met Tim Brown, and what would it mean to you to break the record on Sunday?
I met Tim Brown once. I met him, I was riding like the exercise bike in halftime of the Jacksonville game last year. I met him and Marcus Allen, and they basically told me to keep up the work, and that meant a lot to me. I don't know if they knew how much it meant to me right then, so to even be mentioned with his name is pretty crazy, because I remember watching him when I was super young. I was like 6 or 7 years old when he set that record, so to just even be in the conversation is amazing.
Hey, Darren, Levi Damien from USA Today. Since we've known you when you came on board late in 2018 and you kind of came up more in the public eye in early 2019, you've always been very open and comfortable with the media, though I imagine going through what you went through, that wasn't always the case. What can you just go through what it took to get to this point for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was far from an open book years ago. I never imagined myself or planned on speaking the way that I speak now, I guess. But I guess it took accepting who I was, accepting what I did, and realizing that didn't have to define me, that I could do something different about it, and just not dwelling in those things and getting rid of like the shame of my story, because there's a lot of shame, a lot of guilt for all the times I was suspended and not representing my team or my family name in the way that I could have, and I would always carry that around with me everywhere I went. But just addressing all that stuff and deciding to leave that stuff behind and move forward, it makes me feel like lighter and freer, and it's like there's nothing anybody can say that could put me down about it, because I've already put myself down enough, and now that I've moved past it, there's no looking back for me.
Darren, what's been different this 4-week stretch that you're on right now? It's just, the numbers just seem to skyrocketed during these games. What's been different? Have you been used more, or have you been getting better matchups? What do you attribute it to?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've obviously been targeted more in these past 4 games than the prior ones, but I don't feel like anything changed from a preparation standpoint, or it's just a matter of sometimes you go out there and things don't go as you plan. There are times, I obviously thought in some games that this could be a big game and you end up with 20-something yards, but I feel like as this year has taught me a lot that the numbers coming from a game doesn't necessarily define my performance or how I'm playing, or if I just stay with the preparation and the things that I can control, then if there are games like these past few weeks where the ball comes to me more, I feel like I'll be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So it's just, just a one play at a time mindset and taking it to every week. And some games it's not very many plays that you make, and in some games maybe more, but it's still the same mindset, and that allows production to be made.
And Darren, you never seem particularly motivated by statistical things and or personal, accolades, that kind of thing. But when you hear Coach Gruden say something like, "It's one of the best football players I've ever seen," and I actually spoke to Tim Brown, and he said something very similar to that. When people of that stature say, how do you process that kind of information?
It's hard for me to process, but the fact that I just look at their football pedigree and know that those guys know what they're talking about. So I do appreciate it when it comes from them. But for me, it's like it's just hard to wrap my mind around this whole experience from 2018 till now. I just try to stay in the present moment and just continue to improve. Always try to be open to continue to learn something, continue to take advice from other people, not think that I know everything just because I put up some decent numbers every now and then. So it's just, just continuing to try to respect the game with everything that I do, and but still hold myself to a high standard. And hearing it from guys that are, some of the best faces and players and coaches in the history of this organization, I respect that a lot, and I just try to build upon that and not just rest on what I've done so far.
Darren, as you talk about these accolades and the things that you've accomplished and the awards that you've had now, and in your tenure with the Raiders, I wanted to ask what to you has really stood out as the high point for you in this time that you spent with this team?
I feel like the best part of it is just the day-to-day interactions with my teammates, and just like laughing with them and joking with them, and experiencing the tough losses and experiencing the great wins with them. Because when I was in Baltimore, I just wasn't. I didn't have any relationships with anybody on the team, and it wasn't anybody on the team's fault. It was my fault for just being isolated and hiding and stuff like that. So it's just like having that relationship with these teammates and walking in and smiling and enjoying these times. And the seasons go by so fast now. It's hard to believe that this is the last game of the season. But the high point for me is just the interaction with the people here, and those interactions help me and inspire me to go out there and do my best. And when awards and stuff like that come, it just helps me reflect back on these guys that help encourage me to be my best, and I'm just grateful for the time I get to spend with them.
We've got two more. We'll go Paul and then Anthony.
Hey, Darren, I'm not even sure if I've ever asked you this or if anybody's asked you this before, but who was your favorite football player growing up, and did you ever try to emulate your game after that person?
I played quarterback all the way up until I was in high school, so I would say some of my favorites were Joe Montana, John Elway, just quarterbacks like that, like Dan Marino. I played defense as well, so I was Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson. I just loved guys even in the 70s and 60s and stuff like that. But I'll say mostly the quarterbacks for me. And I thought I was gonna be a quarterback my whole life, but I had some elbow injuries early on and had to switch. But definitely like their leadership qualities. I know like Joe Montana especially, he was one of the best to ever do it, but he just seemed like he didn't have to try too hard to like be a superstar. Like he was just smooth and calm and quiet, and didn't have to be some overbearing personality to have an impact on his teammates in the game. And I feel like I kind of embody that a little bit. I don't say too much or try to bark at people or anything like that. I just try to lead by example, and that's what I took from him as a young kid and mold my personality around that. But from high school on, it's been Calvin Johnson for me, just because the Georgia Tech connection, but just the way that he would dominate a game and his skill set, and we have similar bodies and stuff like that. So it's been Calvin Johnson for me since a teenager, really.
Hey Darren, it's Anthony with the Fresno Bee. Going back to 2018, late November 2018, did you ever envision yourself like 2 years removed from that time that you put up back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons? And also, just how grateful are you that the Raiders saw something in you to bring you in and to produce the way you are?
Right. To answer your first question, no, I did not see this. I remember I was around like Thanksgiving weekend when we played the Raiders when I was in Baltimore, and that week before, I had a good attitude the whole season about getting another opportunity and being able to take advantage of it. But that week, I was kind of down, like, it's like week 11 or week 12, and I don't know if anything's gonna, come from this. I might just be, back working at Sprouts or back home just trying to figure something out after this. And so I didn't see this coming, but I'm definitely grateful. I feel like, everything happened for a reason. I had to experience all those things to have the approach that I have today to not only football but life. So yeah, I'm just grateful for the small things, grateful for the being in Vegas, the ride I get to see, like the scenery on the way to driving to the building in the morning. It's just like the little things for me that help make being grateful for things like being on this team and putting up numbers. That's easy to be grateful for, but it's just the little things for me that turn into big things.
Great. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate it.